Diversity among leaves. I thought this picture represented diversity and citizenship because the different colored leaves signify people. The leaves are all classified under one category, which is that they are a part of a plant. The only difference is their color, shape, and size, but other than that, they're all the same. We as humans are from different racial and ethnic backgrounds, which makes us have different skin tones, and we come in many different shapes and sizes as well. But other than that, we are all the same. So in this picture, I'm using the leaves as a metaphor for human beings because of the different colors that leaves are and the different shapes and sizes that they are as well. When looking at citizenship among leaves and humans, we can find one commonality, which is that we are all members within a particular group. For instance, we are all members of the Canadian culture. Since Canada is very diverse and a multicultural country, we as humans tend to take great pride in being Canadian citizens. This picture tells us that citizens are always welcome to Canada no matter their race, ethnic background, or the language that they speak. Canada is very flexible with allowing people of different origins, which makes this country a very diverse nation. It highlights the importance of citizenship within the Canadian context.
In this photo, we can see the globe, which illustrates the location of all the countries in the world. This globe is a metaphor for General Outcome 3.2 in the Program of Studies, which examines the idea of global citizenship and connecting with the world. The Freedom Book relates to the concepts examined in General Outcome 6.1 and how Canadians have the freedom to participate in a democratic society. I think this photo brings awareness to the fact that if we were to spin the globe and put our finger down on a country, that many would not have the same rights that allow us Canadians to feel free. By examining other communities' rights and freedoms, students are able to see beyond their citizenship as a Canadian and see their ability to contribute and help on a global scale. I understand that as a Canadian citizen, I not only have responsibilities within my own country, but I'm also accountable to these responsibilities on a global scale. As a Canadian, I always want to be an advocate for my country, whether I'm at home or traveling overseas. Learning about other communities around the world has made me more aware of the rights we have as Canadians and the responsibility we have to engage with these freedoms and not take advantage of them. Understanding that we are not only citizens of our own country but of the world should expand a student's notion of what citizenship is and how our responsibilities as citizens go beyond our country borders. It should expand a student's ability to see themselves as just belonging to their local community, to seeing themselves as change makers on a global scale. By examining the photo, students may realize that we are extremely lucky to have the right of mobility, which grants us the ability to travel around the globe and share our Canadian values with others.
Now more than ever, we are constantly surrounded by the use of technology and the internet. In Canada, we are fortunate enough to have easy access to both no matter where we go. It is up to us as citizens of not only this country, but within the global digital community to participate and use these tools responsibly and effectively. This is a screenshot of the home screens on my smartphone. As you can see, there are many different applications, most of which I use on a daily basis. I chose this image because I wanted to emphasize the inevitable growth of technology in our lives and what it means to be a digital citizen. The use of technology is woven throughout the Alberta Program of Studies. It states that technology encompasses the processes, tools, and techniques that alter human activity. Information communication technology provides a vehicle for communicating, representing, inquiring, making decisions, and solving problems. As teachers, it's part of our responsibility to be able to adapt to the changing pedagogy, and the integration of technology is in the forefront of these changes. Furthermore, we, both as teachers and students, should be familiar with the expectations and responsibilities that comes with a connected world. Much like being a citizen of this country, there are also laws, expectations, and responsibilities. According to Mike Ribble, there are 9 different elements of being a digital citizen: access, commerce, communication, literacy, etiquette, law, rights and responsibilities, and security. Being able to incorporate the use of technology into our curriculum is not so much of an option, but a necessary component of teaching.
Gender identity. This picture is describing the importance of gender identity and equality within a Canadian society. Public washrooms such as these do not oppose the different identities that a person holds or believes in. I chose this picture because gender makes up who we are as an individual, and public washrooms like these are explicit at having no restrictions on the general public. It allows men and women of different gender identities to freely take part in these facilities. This washroom also signifies not just the importance of gendered individuals, but special needs and handicapped individuals as well. By the picture being displayed on the sign, it gives them a sense of belonging and identity based on how they look on the outside. Restrooms like these highlight the importance of public washrooms and the roles that they play in an individual's identity and in society. Several places in Canada, such as some post-secondary institutions, are finally starting to realize that gender identity is very important and have started to eliminate the negative connotations surrounding it. As Canadians, we need to take extra steps as well in order to eliminate negative stereotypes about gender identity and transgendered individuals and start making it more acceptable within the Canadian society.
This is a photo of a west-facing view that is located in southern Alberta. The mountains, prairies, and open sky create this beautiful Canadian landscape. Canadian landscapes are very important to Canadians' identity as they reflect the diverse lifestyles, cultures, and hobbies of each individual. Many Canadians develop their identities around how they interact with their environment, whether they are skiers, hikers, farmers, campers, or runners. I hope that students will be able to understand how Canadian identities form throughout history by explaining how their own identities have been shaped by interacting with Canadian landscapes. I took this photo because I thought it was a good prompt for students to think of the different activities that they could see themselves doing in this photo and determine if these activities are part of their identity. They could also examine how people throughout history may have used this land and how this contributed to their identity. My identity as a Canadian citizen is linked to the pride I have for the beauty of our country and the ways in which all Canadians have incorporated it into their identity. This photograph provides opportunities to expand a student's knowledge of what identity is because it allows them to relate the concept to their own lives. Students can expand how they define themselves and others by thinking about the different ways in which they interact with their surroundings and how this affects their own perception of themselves. By exploring themselves, students will be able to effectively examine how people throughout history may have used the land to develop an identity.
Storytelling is an important part of learning and teaching. According to the program of studies, communication skills enable students to comprehend, interpret, and express information and ideas clearly and purposefully. I decided to take a picture of my dinner table because dinner time is one of the most important traditions in my family. Because we all live such busy lives, it's important to be able to sit down as a family and enjoy a meal together for a couple of hours. It is here where stories are told. The dinner table may not be the place where we can entirely discover ourselves, but it is here that we start to build our identity, and identity can be built through stories. When we share our stories, we get insight into each other's experiences, and it is here that barriers can be broken down, lessons can be learned, and traditions and values can be taught. Here in Canada, for example, oral storytelling can help foster the traditions being passed on through the younger generations for First Nation families. As we become more aware of First Nations, Métis, and Inuit traditions and its importance to Canadian society, we can help close the gap between FNMI communities and the rest of Canada. These stories of identity helps reflect our diversity in this country, and as a result, we become more aware of not only our own identity, but as citizens of the country as well. As a teacher, my hope is that we can understand the importance of the diversity in our country and how it can shape us to become better citizens.